Hi, this is a quick unboxing of a new air compressor I bought for my Defender Step project. You can look at some of my older videos on YouTube, and part 1 is online now with other parts to follow. This air compressor will give me the air I need to drop the steps, and also a later project will be to add an air supply to the truck for blowing tyres and possibly air tools. But this is one of the better quality compressors, or at least that's what I'm hoping. It's the top of the range one by T-Max. Comes with a few other bits and bobs, a pressure gauge, an 8-meter hose, and some other little attachments for blowing up your airbed if that's what you're after. We'll open it up and have a look and see what the quality looks like initially, and the plan is I'll go and blow a tyre up and see how long that takes and what current it draws. As this is a higher pressure one, it draws up to 45 amps. I think the lesser one is about 30 amps. So it does take a drop of juice from the old battery. But yeah, let's get it unboxed and you can see what we got here. Okay, I've dispensed with the cardboard box and polystyrene. I didn't think that was going to be very interesting. But there's a compressor. It comes in a nylon bag, which I'm not going to use. But that could be very handy if you're going to keep it in the boot of your car. It'll keep all the bits together. So let's get that out of the bag and see what we've got. Right, there's your 10-meter air hose that comes with it. It's got the Euro type connectors on it. Now I don't use them, I use the PLC ones, but that's just my choice from the beginning. Everything I've bought I've converted to PCL. But you know, they'll do the trick certainly. Let's put them out the way. What else we got here? We got an adapter to blow up your car tyres, of course, again with the Euro connector on there. Probably not going to be very accurate. We can double check that against a more accurate digital gauge that I've got, but still that's going to be useful. That could get you out of trouble. Let's have another look. We got cables. There's 2 meters of heavy duty cable with croc clips on the end. They seem very nice and robust. They go directly to your battery, of course. There's no cigarette lighter adapter here because of the high current you're going to be drawing. There's upwards of 45 amps for this model, so that's probably a wise precaution. I'll say 2 meters of cable there. You've got a little air hose which is probably 30 centimeters long, again with the Euro type connector on there. On the back end of the compressor there's an on-off switch just under the pipe, a little bit difficult to see, and they tell me this is a thermal trip. If the compressor gets too warm in use, it'll trip out on its own. It's self-reset. You don't have to do anything with it apart from make a cup of tea and turn the compressor off and wait 15 minutes. Alright. Heavy duty, heavy weight. It's about 8 kilograms in weight, which feels good. It's not a lightweight by any means, literally. Sits on a pressed steel tray. That's to keep the dust and the grot out if you put it on the ground. It is mounted to the tray through 4 bolts, which are pushed through rubber mountings, so vibrations will be minimized. And if you turn that over, you've got another 4 rubber bumpers. So you know, that's going to be fairly good. That's going to take a lot of the vibration out. If this was just sit onto a metal tray in a car, or the bodywork of the car with no rubber feet at all, it's gonna, you know, it's gonna rattle your teeth. The noise it's gonna make. So that should be quite good. We'll see how noisy it is when we fire it up. But overall, it looks very good. You've got a overpressure safety valve there. That'll probably pop at about 150 pounds because it's rated to 150 psi, this compressor. The information that's on a little tag here, that's just underneath, a T-Max air compressor. The part number is 8016601. It's the higher of the 2 models that I'm aware of in the respect to PSI output. This is 150 PSI maximum with 160 litres airflow. Now that 160 litres will be into free air, not when you're pumping a tyre up, so do be aware of that. There's a few extra little bits and pieces that came with it for blowing up your beach balls and your airbeds. Now the plan with this compressor is going to be sitting under the passenger seat of the Defender, and it's just going to be permanently plumbed in. It's going to be hardwired in, permanent connection, permanent mount. It's not going to be coming out. One of my other thoughts later on is to put another connection to this, which you'll see in a later video, that'll also supply air to the truck if I want a separate air supply if I'm out and about, blowing up my tyres, perhaps somebody else's tyres. But the ultimate game, or the goal for this air compressor, is purely for the steps at the moment. And those steps I'm talking about, you'll see in an earlier video if you take a look back. I'm fitting pneumatic air steps, deployable steps to the both sides of the truck. So again, that's in an earlier video, so feel free to have a look back at that. But right, okay, well, we'll take this outside, we'll fire it up, see how much noise it makes, see what current it does truly draw at full power, and we'll see if it'll blow a tyre up. So yeah, out we go. Okay, we're down to 5 psi on the gauge they supplied me. However, my more accurate pressure gauge claims it's 10 psi, so we'll work on the 10 psi. We're all cabled up here, ready to go. So we flick the switch and we'll time it, see how long it takes to get to 30 psi on the gauge there. So I'll count down 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, the gauge is reading a tad under 30 pounds. I'll put the more accurate gauge on there in a second, and I reckon we're going to be nearer up to 32 pounds like I wanted. That's took about a minute and a half to get there. Now if we flick back to the compressor, well, that's hardly warm. The pipe's a little bit warm there. Everything else is stony cold, so it hadn't laboured at all. So let's check it, see if it's 32 pounds. If it is, then I'm happy with that, and we'll just put the current meter on, see what's actually drawing when it is under load. Okay, the compressor's merrily working away the other side of the truck, and we are taking 43 amps from the battery. This is why you should be running the truck or your car so the alternator's charging the battery. You leave it like this too long, you'd be pushing your truck to start it. So 43 amps at full load is still attached to the tyre, still blowing the tyre up. So we'll go around the other side, see what the pressure's like, and set it to 32 pounds like I need. Well, I've just took both crock clips off, and they're not even warm. So they are powerful grippers. They do attach to the battery very, very well. So no high resistance joints there. Let's go round and see what my tyre pressure's up to and set it correctly. Right, just checking the pressure now. We've got 31 pound on the tyre there, so it needs a tad more in there to make it 32, but yeah, it does blow up quite well from 10 pounds to 31 in a minute and a half, and the compressor didn't even feel warm, so I think that's a result. Okay, so to recap, this T-Max air compressor seems a very capable device. It's blown my tyres up in less than a minute and a half, and they're big tyres. They're 18-inch tyres on a Land Rover Defender, so potentially other people may have smaller tyres, so they'll blow them up a lot quicker. Yeah, very capable, feels good quality all round. It'll certainly do for my project. If we zoom in on the part number plate, you can see you got the T-Max 80166601. That's a 45 amp version, up to 150 psi maximum. There is one lesser than that. It's about £79, I think. If you don't want it quite as capable, by all means, maybe that's the one you need to go for. If it's the same quality as this, then don't hesitate. Yeah, you can get an air compressor for £14 if you want, but you get what you pay for. This one is certainly going to do what I needed to do. So yeah, hey, if you found the video useful, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe, because this air compressor will feature in an up and coming video.